Have you ever felt invisible in a room full of people? Have you ever felt like you were disconnected and dissatisfied with the life you were living, even though everyone else around you thought that you should be satisfied with exactly where you are? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then this is the video for you. Today, we are going to talk about how high achieving women often feel invisible in the world around them. I speak from personal experience. I know exactly what it is like to be a high performing woman who has accolades, who is praised by people all around, but yet feel empty. I have been high performing since I was a child. And as a high performing child and an adult, I was considered the responsible one in my family, right? As this high performing child, as a child who did well in school, as a child who is the third oldest of 10, I am looked to and leaned on as a leader. And oftentimes I would go unnoticed. My needs emotionally would go unnoticed because either I could not fully articulate what was necessary in order for me to feel complete, or those around me just didn't see the needs that I had because I was so high performing. Can you relate to that? Have you ever been in a space where people didn't think you needed anything because you were the one who had it all together? You were the one that people counted on, and you were the one who people depended on. And so your needs, those unspoken needs, and even the needs that you voiced out went unmet because nobody knew how serious the things you needed were. Nobody took the time to see or to think about what would happen to you if those particular needs were not met. I remember at a very young age, I had to be maybe 6 to 7, and I remember stating this phrase. I had stayed home from school, and I had told the people at the time, "Listen, I'm not feeling well." And I remember being in the room, jumping on the bed, and they come in the room, like, "What's going on? You said you're sick, and now you're in here jumping on the bed." And my response was, "No one listens to me." Have you been there? Have you ever uttered that phrase as a child to an adult, or even in your adult life? Have you ever uttered that phrase to the people around you? You could speak, but you feel like no one's listening. They don't hear what's coming out of your mouth. They don't experience the feelings that you are feeling, and they cannot uncover and discover what's wrong. Truth be told, you don't even know what you're feeling. You don't even understand the weight that you are carrying. You don't even understand the emotional toil. You don't understand the emotional toll that has taken place in your life. You have been performing your entire life. And when you don't perform, it's like you experience this rejection from the people around you. If I am on your block, if you have experienced this, then I want you to just put a fire emoji in the chat. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you have experienced this, because many times as high performing women, we go through life dissatisfied because we are not clear emotionally on what we are carrying. And so I did not have the language for a majority of my life for what I felt. And I remember even into my adult life in my early 20s, I would say, I just feel some kind of way. I was disconnected from the life I was living. I was on track to make 6 figures. I was working for a billion-dollar company. I was overseeing million-dollar stores, but yet I was not satisfied. I was not fulfilled. All of the external things weren't doing it for me. And I had to take time to really discover why, even though I was in a leading role in my career, in my life, I took the back seat. If you can relate to that, put a heart emoji in the chat. You are leading in your career, you are leading in your business, but yet in your life, you feel like you are losing. In your life, you feel like you are drowning. In your life, you feel unseen. In your life, you feel unheard. In your life, you are uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable in my own skin. And the reason I was uncomfortable in my own skin was because I did not understand me. I remember for a period of time, probably from 2009 until 2012, I was undergoing this huge internal uproar, and I began to really talk to myself about what I was emotionally experiencing because the weight was heavy. I did not believe in therapy. And when I say that, I mean I come from this place where what happens in this house stays in this house, right? I come from a place where we didn't talk about outside, or we didn't involve outside people in our mess. I don't know if you can relate. Put that. I need you to put a heart emoji in the chat if you can relate, where it's like what happens in this house stays in this house, what happens in this family stays in this family. I want you to put a heart in the chat. Now, what I discovered was that was like eating me alive, where I did not have what I believe to be the freedoms to go and to express the burdens that I was carrying. Now, even though I did not get therapy, what I did do transformed my life. What I did do, what I began to engage in, how I began to go on this transformative journey, I am so grateful that I did it. I am so grateful that I did not allow the boundaries and the borders that had been placed up by other people's words to hinder me from grabbing a hold of exactly what I needed to be free. See, a lot of time as high performing women, we have these borders and boundaries placed on us by other people. And these borders and boundaries are placed on us by other people based on the words that they speak to us. They become like these invisible chains that hold us back. There are some invisible chains that are operating in your life. There are some things that you do, some thoughts that you think, some ways that you engage with people, all because of words that were spoken to you from your childhood, all because you were programmed a particular way and you respond a particular way even until this day, but you do not have the clarity to understand why. And so you go throughout your day, you go throughout your life, you go throughout your week feeling invisible because you have been invaded and violated by the words of another. You have been disloyal to exactly who you are because you are being loyal to words that were spoken to you by someone who did not actually know you. Here's what I have discovered. I've discovered that there are people in our lives that might not mean any harm. They may not mean any harm when they are speaking these words around us, but because they don't know what you carry, because they don't understand your calling, because they don't understand who you are at your core, the words that they speak corrupt your character. What do I mean by that? All of my life, I have been sensitive. And what I mean by that is I can see somebody in pain or hurting. I could be watching a movie and I will cry for that person. If your family passes away, I'm probably going to cry. I don't have to know your family, but if I even think about the pain of losing somebody, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, this is so sad. I remember calling a friend, she had lost her husband, and I start crying. And she's like, Shiyterea, why are you crying? I'm like, right? And so I'm toe up. Okay, she fine talking to me on the phone. She not fine, she just lost her husband, but she has it more together than I do, right? So all my life, I have been this very sensitive, emotional person. And I remember as a child, being called a crybaby. And I despised my sensitivity because of those words that were spoken to me. I thought something was wrong with me because of how often I cried. I did not know until in my late 20s why I was so sensitive. I did not discover the importance of that gift because essentially I thought it was a curse. I thought, why would God make me broken like this? See, there is something about you that other people have put their mouths on. Other people who didn't mean you any harm. They didn't mean to tear you down, but by the words they spoke, they traumatized you. They sabotaged your progress. They made you feel like you weren't good enough. They made you feel like you were doing way too much. They made you feel out of place. It made you uncomfortable. And so the very skin that you were in, the very way that God designed you, you despised it. You rejected it. You disrespected it because you did not know why you were like this. I did not have an appreciation for my sensitivity until one day I had come into my house and I was having some work done on my front porch. They were redoing the stairs, and they redid the stairs. It was concrete, and so they had to like bust up the concrete, take it out, redo the stairs. The stairs looked so nice. I wish I had a picture of it, but I don't. And I don't live there anymore, so I can't go get a picture and like put it in the video for you. But anyway, you probably do not care about my stairs. Okay. Either way, so I didn't appreciate it until these stairs got done. And so I go in my house, I look, I'm like, the stairs look so good. I go downstairs into my basement and I see footprints. Girl, and I'm living alone. What is going on here? Okay. So I'm like, okay, we got some footprints in this basement. I call my mother. I'm like, the men, they were working on my house. I just want you on the phone with me because there's footprints in my basement and now I have to like go discover if there's someone here. And my mother goes, call your brother, have him meet you at the house. But in that moment, I knew instantly what happened. Instantly, based on how sensitive I am. Now, prophetically speaking, the Holy Spirit communicated with me and told me exactly what happened. But I've been designed to be sensitive enough so that when the Lord speaks to me in that way, I will know, right? I'll know what's going on. I'll be very clear about what's happening. But for so long, I despised that gift, right? And so I'm like, oh, you know what, Mom, it's no problem. There's nobody here. We're all set. The next morning, the gentleman comes to collect his payment, right? And so he came to collect payment, asked me if there's any problems, and then he said, I do want to let you know that when the guys were working on the stairs, there was nothing to stop the concrete from going into your house. And the guy was on top of the stairs and he actually fell into your house. And so they went down, they cleaned up the mess and he came back up the same way he fell down. And that's exactly what I knew happened. That's exactly what I knew happened in that moment. In the moment before, the night before, when I saw those footprints. Now, I had for 30 plus years despised my gift of sensitivity. I felt so uncomfortable with it. I felt like I was this outcast because it didn't matter whether the person was crying or something was going on. Like I would end up crying. And I felt so uncomfortable with it. And I felt like this outcast until I began to appreciate how I was wired. See, you are wired a particular way, and it's for God's glory. You are wired a particular way, and you have been mishandled, you have been negatively spoken over, you have been mistreated, all because of a gift that somebody else doesn't understand. You are a gift to your family. You're a gift to your husband. You're a gift to your children. You're a gift to your friends. You're a gift to your parents. You're a gift to your siblings. But sometimes when people don't understand how to receive a gift, because they don't understand the design of the gift, they will mistreat the gift. Right? And so I want you, if that resonates with you at all, put a clapping hands emoji in the chat. Because there are some people, again, who didn't mean you any harm, but they put darts or arrows in the very depths of your soul because they did not know how to handle you. And so you're going through life feeling uncomfortable about you. And that doesn't just happen once in your life. It happens over and over and over again. And you're walking around with all these weighty words weighing you down. You're disgusted with who you are. And so you're so uncomfortable, but you're out here performing. You're out here doing. You're out here showing up. Because if you can work hard enough, if you can do just enough, you'll work yourself out of the pain that you feel. You'll work yourself out of the uncomfortability. You'll work yourself into the good graces of those around you. But that moment never comes. You never become satisfied. You can never do enough. You can never do enough to think that you're this really great person. I performed my way into so many things. I thought if I did more, if I gave more, if I showed up more, I'd feel better about me. But I had to take time to really discover who I was. And the first step in that was having this appreciation for me. See, you don't appreciate you. And when you show up not appreciating all that is about you, other people can't find value in it because you can't properly defend or properly portray the gifting that you are. You can't properly show up because you start shrinking. You start backing down. You start getting smaller. You start disappearing. In this season, you are no longer shrinking. You're no longer backing down because you are a city set upon a hill. You are a light for all to see. In this season, you are refusing to retreat because you believe in you. This is a season for you to begin to believe in you. And so in about 2012, I made a decision. I had been involved in a very toxic relationship. And this toxic relationship, this guy says to me, because I had not gotten a perm, a relaxer. I hadn't gotten a relaxer for a couple of weeks. And so he's like, oh, you need to go get your hair done because you just do not look nice like that. And I looked at him and I said, I don't really care what you think about my hair. I'm been trying to get rid of you for so long and you just won't leave me alone. Like, leave me alone. And so it was in that moment where I made the decision to transition. I said, I am transitioning from this straight hair that every time my hair grows, I have to go get my hair chemically altered. Now, if a relaxer is good for you, ma'am, keep relaxing your hair. But it was no longer serving me. For my whole life, I hated my hair. I hated it because my hair and my older sister hair is different. My mother would say that my older sister has grease and water hair and that I had like not good hair, right? And so I hated my hair. She would say that it would take so much longer to do my hair. So she would start with my hair and then she would finish with my sister's hair because my sister's hair was really quick, really easy to do. And so I just disliked my hair. I was like, you know, if somebody can do it, anybody can do it, let's get it done. But it was in that moment where I realized people have got to stop telling me who I am, what I look best in, how I should feel about things. Like, people were telling me my entire life what I should be grateful for, what I should appreciate, what I should be doing. They were trying to fit me into a box that wasn't for me, right? Like, I remember in high school, I was an electrical engineer, and I turned down being an electrical engineer to go to a school in my area for business management. And I had gotten into one of the top schools for electrical engineering. But there was a particular situation in my life that caused me to stay in my hometown. And if that situation had not happened, because the Lord says that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose, I would have went and obtained a degree in something I really was not interested in. I would have went and lived somebody else's dream. And so, because of that incident, which was negative in my life, but it worked out for my good, because of that incident, I made a decision to remain where I was. And in making that decision, I changed the trajectory of my life. And so I realized that I had been taking on the words and the weight of everybody around me. I had other people had this agenda for me, and they said, this is who Shiyterea is, and this is what Shiyterea should live up to, and this is where Shiyterea should go, and this is what we're expecting of her. And I realized I didn't have a picture of me for myself. I didn't have an idea of who I was, and I needed one. I needed a picture of myself. I needed my own expectations. I needed to be able to tell my own story. I needed to be able to be comfortable in my own skin and to love who I was, right? And so I decided, okay, I'm going to do some research and I am going to go on a hair journey. Now, at first, that probably sounds very superficial, but it appears superficial, but yet it was a turning point in my life because it was a moment for me to love me in the skin I was in. And if I could love me, the me that I could see in the mirror, then I could love the me that I could not see yet. I could love the me who lived in the future. I could love the me who wouldn't always be perfect. I could love the me who made mistakes. I could love the me who was not sure. I could love this version of me. And so I said, I'm gonna watch some videos, I'm gonna do some stuff, and I am going to make this transition. I don't care who doesn't like it. And that was a big move for me because, truth be told, I was a people pleaser silently. I did not know I was a people pleaser, but I wanted the approval of man, even though I despised the applaud, because every time I got applause, it was me dying to this idea or this identity that I did not know I had. And so I make this really big decision and I feel so good about it. I'm like, this is for me. I'm super excited about this hair journey. And so I go on this hair journey and I'm experimenting with all these products and I'm doing all these things and I'm discovering, girl, your hair is beautiful. Girl, your hair is not bad. Girl, I'm discovering all this stuff about me and I'm super excited about it. And I remember I big chopped. Well, I grew it out. I transitioned a little and then I had some trouble. Like it kept getting tangled. So I chopped it off. But I didn't have a teeny weeny afro because I had been growing it. But it was much shorter than I was used to. And now this was something I had to get used to. I had to get used to seeing myself without straight hair. I had to get used to seeing myself with short hair. I had to get used to seeing myself learn this hair that I never knew. And it was the most beautiful experience for me because I got to know me. I got to know my hair. I got to know what my hair liked, what my hair disliked. I was like, oh, my hair has its own personality. And that personality isn't wrong. It just needs what it needs. And in me discovering, if I give my hair what it needs, it'll thrive and it'll be popping and it'll look good. I discovered that if I give me what I need, I will thrive. I will soar. I will be this newer version of myself that's better than I've ever been. I'll feel better about myself. I'll make better decisions in my life. And I'll make decisions that, even though they don't look good to the outside world, they are the best decision for me. And in knowing that and in believing that, I began to make decisions in my life that people just did not agree with. They'd be talking about it, but they were decisions that were right for me. They were decisions that opened doors for me. They were decisions that allowed me to flourish. The reason high performing women feel so invisible is because they are laying down who they are to take on the identity of another. As a high performing woman, you need to take time to really discover who you are and to distance yourself from the borders and boundaries that other people have raised up for you, the standards that other people have raised because somebody raised a standard for them. And I'm not saying we should not follow the leadership or the authority in our lives, but what I am saying is we have to be clear on where we fit in, what's right for us and what's not. We have to have the ability to speak up and say, no, this does not serve me. No, I'm not going to go there because that's not for me. Okay, everybody's doing that. I won't do that because it's not going to be a benefit for me, and be okay with that. It doesn't change that I was born a leader. It does not change anything else about me if I am able to say no, if I am able to limit my interaction, if I am able to say that's not a direction for me. But what it does is it opens up more opportunities for me. It opens up more doors for me, and it allows me to live in the freedom that belongs to me. Everybody has a particular path, a particular destiny that they were designed for. But when we use our words to misdirect another person's steps because of where we are going, we cause confusion to come upon them. See, a lot of times as high performing women, we have these weights and burdens because we're confused. We're confused about where we're going because we are looking at somebody else's map. Ma'am, if you are going to Texas, but your girlfriend is going to California, and you take your girlfriend's map, will you ever end up in Texas? No, ma'am. You won't. You'll never make it to Texas. And you'll end up in California, and you'll be so frustrated because California is not Texas. In this season, you have got to discover the map that belongs to you. In this season, you have to be willing to step back and evaluate where you took on somebody else's mission, where you took on somebody else's mandate, where you decided that you were going to be a little less you and you showed up a little more like somebody else. Powerful woman, if this blessed you, if this impacted you, if you have experienced any of this, if you've been taking on other people's maps, taking on directions from people who don't even know where they're going. Have you ever, let me tell you this story. Okay. I am not the person that you ever want to ask for driving directions from. Don't do it. Never ask. I won't be able to give you any good directions. No, ma'am. And I remember at the time, I do not have a car. So I'm taking the bus, and I forget exactly where I'm going, but somebody goes, which bus gets me to Niagara Falls? I said, no bus. I said, no bus will take you to Niagara Falls. It's not possible. Don't. I don't even know why I answered that person. I didn't have the information, but I was so sure you could not take a bus to Niagara Falls. Clearly, it's a place. Yeah, you can take a bus to it. That person looked at me. They turned and went and asked somebody else. Yeah, don't ask me. I don't know. You are asking people about you who don't even know where they are going. Okay? Don't do it no more. Stop it. Don't do it. Take the time to discover you. Now, am I telling you to go on a hair journey? No, ma'am, I'm not. I'm telling you the beginning stages that helped me to not be afraid to go on a journey. Because when I discovered that my hair journey was so fulfilling, it was so refreshing. Like, I was refreshed being on this hair journey. I was excited. I was looking for new challenges. I was looking for new ways to engage with my hair. I was so excited. And when I discovered that that journey took me someplace great, I was no longer afraid to take a trip. I was no longer afraid to do the work that was necessary for me to become who God called me. I was no longer afraid to dive into the deep end and to discover and to make some shifts and changes and to make some tweaks in my life because I saw the end result of my hair. And I was still in process of doing it. I saw that it was working out for my good. I saw that even though it was uncomfortable in the beginning, even though it was uncomfortable cutting my hair, I saw that there was a benefit to it. See, you have not started the journey of discovering you because you're uncomfortable with the idea of changing up what you are so accustomed to. But if you do not, you will you continue to be bitter. You will continue to be down. You will continue to be overwhelmed because you are operating from a place that's not yours. You're taking up a space that doesn't belong to you. You're tired. You're run down because you're doing things not assigned to you. In this season, you have got to get to know you. And as you do, you can say no much easier, with greater authority, with greater boldness, being more courageous when you enter into situations that you don't know the outcome of. You will no longer be afraid to speak up. You'll no longer be afraid to stand out because you know this distinction, this uniqueness, this difference that you have is beautiful. I discovered the beauty in my hair. It was different than my sister's. Not that hers is not beautiful, because it is, but hers is beautiful because of her texture, because of who she is. Mine is beautiful because of my texture, because of who I am. Like, they're both beautiful in their own unique, distinct ways. And when I discovered that, I could appreciate me differently. I could appreciate her differently. I could be excited differently because I had a new level of comprehension. I had a new perspective. Until you get the right perspective about you, you will continue to be bogged down and burdened by you. And you will continue to refuse to serve you in the way that you need to serve you in order for you to become the best version of you. I pray that this video blessed you. I pray that you get what you need out of it, and that you come back and you watch it again if you need to. That you share it with 5 people who you know will be impacted and who will be imparted by this video. And that you go and you do the work. That you take time to discover where you need to start. Where do you need to start in order for you to start appreciating you? It is so important for you to discover exactly who you are so you can sound differently, so you can laugh differently, so you can even appreciate the moments where you have to cry, so you can appreciate who you've been designed to be. Listen, I will see you in another video. Bye.